Well, good morning. Saturday, April 3rd. I figured I'd give you another update on life and new adventure and what's been going on lately. Mostly it's been just uh, waiting for the snow to melt, and it's been doing that handsomely. So I'm going to turn the camera around and I'll show you around. So things are progressing. You can always tell it's a good time for spring melt when everything looks like hell. So an update. Uh, First, simple stuff. So on the my little lean-to here that shelters the door to the trailer, I took the plastic off, the sheet plastic, and I got that inexpensive corrugated plastic roofing because I want to more reliably capture the rainwater off this roof at least. And the plastic wasn't going to work because I wasn't going to be able to put an eaves trough in. So and it's just going to be, it works better with a solid roof to collect water. And then the plastic roof I had to buy new, but that piece of eaves trough is just a salvaged piece that I've had hanging around, even hangers. And the intention is to put a barrel there, catch rainwater, but also I have this little creek-like affair running from the south end of the property down this way and goes out north to the road. And there's usually water in there of some kind. They'll probably build a pit, dig a pit there with my backhoe and put some sort of container in there to hold water. Excuse me. When you live alone, you don't talk very often, so when you do start talking, your throat dries out. Anyways, so I'm hoping to collect some water out of there as well. And then this little shelter here was where I put my diesel generator, keep it warm and shield the noise a little bit better. And that worked well, but since I'm hooked up to the main hydro line now, I don't need the generator there. So the plan is, with building the house, I need a pump, a water pump, a pressure tank. I need filters for the water, and that's the sediment filters and UV lamp to sterilize the water. I need those anyways for the house, but I don't need them right now since the house isn't built yet. But I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll get those items anyways ahead of time, install them in here, get them set up, arrange them in a way so that they're easy to disconnect, and then move them into the house when I'm ready for them. And also maybe a small tankless water heater. Now the tankless water heater, I'm going to have a proper storage tank water heater in the house. Really, tankless water heaters aren't all that great. They're convenient for certain applications, and what I'm thinking is the heater in the trailer doesn't work anymore, the water heater. So I've just turned that off and bypassed it altogether, and I'm just heating wood or water on the stove at the moment, since I am On my own, I don't need all that much water. But I'm thinking with a small tankless heater, and you can pick those up fairly economically. I can put that in here, have hot water for myself in the trailer, and then when I have a workshop, when I set my workshop up, and that'll be up probably with the mill, I'll move the tankless water heater up there, because it makes sense there. If I need hot water there, it's not going to be all that frequent, so I don't need a storage tank. And certainly in the wintertime, I don't need to worry about, lines freezing and stuff like that. So I can always move the tankless water heater up to the workshop and have hot water when I need it. My wood pile, my mixer here, that needs to be fixed, but this mess needs to be cleaned up, obviously. Yeah, I think I was done with the water thing. Have those things all set up to service the trailer and move it all later when I need it for the house. But you'll see that a good portion of the snow is gone. It's still freezing at nighttime, and it's still reasonably chilly, although warmer weather is coming. Tomorrow is supposed to be in double digits, and it's supposed to stay that way for at least a few days. So the next big task is to start moving logs out of the way and up to where the mill is going to be. And certainly next week I hope to start setting up the mill, because the site where it's going is free of snow now, and starting to dry out too. Now the ground hasn't thawed out yet, so I really don't know yet how mucky it's going to be down here. Hopefully not too bad. Again, it looks like a mess, but it's not actually that bad. This is all salvaged lumber that I got from the trailer park where I was last summer. A couple of places that got torn down, and I was able to recover the wood. And then this is that great big oak that I took down that was over here, that was endangering the house. And then another tall oak back there. You saw the butt end of it down there. I have to drag that out of there. Hopefully it's the tractor's heavy enough that I can drag most of it out all in one piece, and then I can cut it up when I have better access to it. I wanted to also point out there's a great big old oak that had fallen down or was cut down. I don't know which. But it was just lying on the side of the the driveway. And the nice thing about oak is it takes a long time to rot, at least on the inside. The outside is funky as all get out. That was a scar from the tractor as I was pushing it around. That's all soft. But if you look at the inside of it, there's some good solid wood in there. So I'm going to cut into that, and I should be able to harvest some interesting wood. So there's this log here, which is probably 14 feet long, and this piece here, which is the other part of it, and that's at least 20 feet long. This one's split up at the top, and it goes quite a ways down, and there's quite a natural groove in the wood there. And I'll probably cut this in half, cut into it, and there should be some interesting wood in there. Because this is, even down at the end here, that's still fairly solid. Now that's not going to be of much use itself, but farther down, yeah, cut a few slabs out of that and see what it looks like. Even if it's completely useless for any sort of building or construction that I might think of with it, it's still all good fire. Most of it's still all good firewood. So why not? It's not like it's going to be a waste of time putting it on the mill. So, and then there's this great big piece here, and I'm going to cut it at least into 3 pieces, maybe 4, depends. Oak is damn hard, or heavy. So whether my little tractor is going to be able to move particular sizes of pieces, I don't know yet. So we'll see. But I've got all sorts of wood that I need to move out of here. Hemlock here. This is a small maple log, and I'll stick it on the mill, see if there's anything out of it. There's a good size maple back there. This is all hemlock, and some of that should be good. Back there is hemlock. So lots of logs to move, and then I want to go up here just to show you the mill site. It shouldn't take too long. This is the north side of the hill here in this particular area. Obviously it's taking a long time to clear the snow out. Interesting though, it's the road area here is where the snow is staying the longest. It's fairly deep here, but if you look in the woods, snow's all gone in the woods. That's mainly because of the water is concentrated when it falls down out of the trees. It melts all the snow underneath the trees quicker. So we get up to the top of the hill here, and then it tips down towards the south, and most of that is clear. So the mill site, once I get here, so nice and flat, easy to get up here with the tractor. The ground is nice and solid. This is the north side, west, south, and my trail goes down there a fair ways yet, another 100 yards or so to the south end of the property. But this is where I'm going to put the mill, and this is an old culvert. I have an idea where I'm going to put that. So it's still a solid culvert, so I might as well put it to use. Now I'll put the mill here. I was thinking of putting it on the west side and getting the tractor in and out, and loading logs on there would kind of work better as far as access, but what I eventually want to do is be able to cover this whole area under a roof as my workshop and cover for the mill. And I want it oriented the lengthwise this way so I can capture the southern sun more readily. I think that works out better. But there was a hemlock here that was leaning over over the site. I needed to cut that out of there, and it wasn't any good. But I wanted to point out also these two big stumps here. These are hemlocks, and the logs, or the rest of the tree, they both fell down this way. And I thought they were junk, but I cut into them, and they're still fairly solid. Now they all suffer from wind shake. I'll get to that in a second, but this one's big enough. This log here is big enough, and it was actually alive. There were live branches down at the top end, so it didn't fall down all that long ago, really. Maybe even last year sometime, I don't know. It seemed like they were here for a little bit longer than that, maybe 2 or 3 years, I don't know. But once I cut into them, again, these are worth sticking on the mill, seeing what I can get out of them. I should be able to get something out of them. Even just 1-inch planks would be useful. But I've mentioned before, hemlocks are very, very prone to wind shake. And this is one of the primary results of that. When they get the wind shake badly, then the divisions between the rings breaks, and that becomes a pathway for capillary action. So it's a very narrow pathway, and water wicks up those broken rings, and they rot from the inside out, essentially. And so you get rot at the base, and it rots up. And in this case, they got rotten enough at and these are 6-7 feet in the air, and they were rotten enough that the wind took them out, flopped them over, and there's the break there. But obviously the rot hadn't gotten any farther than that. So about 10 feet up, the wood is still quite solid. So in this case, what I wanted to point this out to you. If you've got trees that are down, especially an oak or even a maple, and it's been down for a little while, and you're thinking it's just scrap. Well, no, not necessarily. Don't necessarily give up on it. Cut it open. Even if it's you're only going to use it for firewood, those down trees may still be worthwhile, especially a hardwood, or if it's a softwood like the hemlock, and it hasn't been down that long. Yeah, it could still be worth harvesting, even if, as I said, it's just firewood. And just like the oak down the hill, even if the wood inside isn't of any use to me for structural work, it's still all good firewood. I know that now for sure. So I'm not wasting my time with putting on the mill. But then, I've got all sorts of firewood already for next year, so this should be good. That's the update for now. There is a couple other things I want to talk about, but that's enough for this video, and I'll talk to you again soon.